when I do the TV music and I'm watching a really major show and then my song comes on, I think that was in my room that I made. That was upstairs up there, and now there it is on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And it's just like,
wow,
that's so crazy. Like,
and you know I need a daddy tonight. So that moment when I look in your eyes.
welcome to the Musician's Secret Podcast. I'm so excited to introduce my super awesome, cool guest today, Sazrah. Welcome.
thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
I just feel so honored that you took the time out of your busy schedule to talk with me. Because you're crazy busy.
Yeah, I am, but no, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm really, really happy to be here because I've seen some of your other episodes and I love them.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's really, really, from you having, gosh, I'm kind of blushing for those that are watching the YouTube videos. Yeah, you can but yeah, you're a composer, you're a producer, right? You write songs for yourself, you write songs for other people. And what I also love was really, really cool is your Reiki-attuned album.
Yes, my meditation music. Yeah, with the Reiki release.
Oh my god. I'm like, oh cool. This is because I actually had a Reiki session like 6 weeks ago before we had the lockdown here in Germany. I barely made it before they allowed.
Oh wow, well done.
Like, you know what, because I already had the appointment. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it was so good. Like, she knew.
Was it your first session?
It was my first session, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't want to look it up, and I just want to go in there and not be biased. And it was crazy, what she knew about me, and I'm like, wow. I just went out of that session and I just got exactly not what I needed, but what my body needed as well.
Holy That's the thing about Reiki, it goes to what's needed. You can't be like, right, could you Reiki to fix my arm? It will go to where needs it the most. It might be your mind that needs fixing.
Totally. So it was, wow. Anyone that, if you haven't done it yet, you should totally do it. It's pretty cool. So so I listened to that. There were 7 tracks on there?
Yeah. So I have 1 track for each chakra. And so I use the key of the chakra to resonate with it. And then because I've learnt Reiki myself, I put it into the music so that it releases when you listen to it. I checked with my Reiki master and everything, is this doable? And she was like, yeah. And so, I did that. And I didn't realize how many people it would help. It helps people who've had insomnia, people who are going through heartache, the things that people have said they felt, and the energy and the soothing. And even if some people just had it playing in the background in their classroom to make everyone relax, or someone listens to it when they read because they need sound when they're reading and they're not even into Reiki, but they were like, this really makes me concentrate and things. So it's just that general relaxing music. But if you're into Reiki, you can enjoy the Reiki release too.
Wow. Yeah. I listened to it. I was laying on the couch and I just put the headphones on and I'm like, I'm just gonna let it play just in order and see what happens. And I was, after the last song or whatever you want to track, I was so relaxed. Because I just came back from home, and I work at I delivered all the packages that people are ordering like crazy right now. So my day is busy and I'm running around. I'm carrying heavy packages up to 3rd floors and all that crap. So when I get home, I am tired and stressed and my mind is all over the place. So I listened to that. I just laid on the couch and putting on the headphones. I just laid there. And at the end, I was just like, where am I? This is so cool. I was so relaxed.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad.
I can't even describe the feeling. Just try it out, see what happens, because it was just really, after completely stressful day, it just completely brought me back to like 0. I was so relaxed and just
that makes my heart melt. That's exactly why I made it. Like,
oh my
honestly,
God.
thank you. Yeah,
nice job. I mean, holy cow, that was another level. So we'll talk about that later, but just so everyone kind of knows who you are and where you come from and what got you into Reiki and music and producing, and
yes,
just give us a rundown of who Sazrah is, basically.
Oh wow, okay. Well, I guess I've always grown up doing music. Like, my mum played percussion in a band in Ghana because my mum's Ghanaian, and my dad's bit was classically trained. And so he kind of did like the whole piano thing with me growing up. And then as I got older, I got more into like the electronic side of things. And I used to try like producing, but I didn't know I was producing, but I had 2 tape players, and I'd be like recording on the keyboard like some drums, and then I'd swap the tapes over and play on one tape and record on the other and keep swapping them over because I had 2 tapes, and I was basically layering tracks but without realizing. And then when my mum saw it, she bought me this PlayStation game called Music Generator, and that was like a little, it's almost like a sort of a software of making music, but it's all done on the PlayStation, so it's like got the elements of it, but it's a little bit more fiddly because it's like for fun. And then I realized that there's actual software out there on like PCs and Macs and stuff where you actually could do this. So it was like I realized, oh, this is actually doable as a serious thing. So then I went to study it at college, but because I was the only girl in the class, I was a bit scared, so I quit. And then did I wouldn't be scared of something like that now, but back then I was, because I was so young. I did accounts for a few years, and then I was like doing my music as a hobby. And then some people who were at uni in Cambridge that rapped, they sort of heard it on MySpace and were like, oh, can we collab? And then I started hanging out with them and realizing like, oh, at uni, I thought uni had to be if you were rich. I didn't realize uni was like, you get help and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I was asking them all these different questions, and I thought, I want to do music at uni. So I quit the accounts and went into music, and then never looked back. And I just started putting myself out there. And because I went to uni a little bit later, I'd made more effort than if I would have gone straight after school. I would have kind of just been enjoying the freedom, but I actually turned up to things, went to more events, made more connections. And then I started getting more on the hip hop scene and things. The Reiki came a little bit later when I'd finished I'd been for Reiki and things before I went to uni, but I'd never thought of learning it myself. But people were saying like I had an energy about me, which was quite soothing. So I thought, well, why not learn more about Reiki? And then the person who gives me Reiki, she said she had like, she teaches it and that. So I thought, oh, okay, let me like go on her course. And that was that. And then immediately, I wasn't doing it for planning of it being in music, but it's like, while I was in the zone and she was like doing the transition, it just came into my head like, you need to put this in your music. So that's when Sazrah's Meditation Music Volume 1 was born. And I'm working on Volume 2.
Perfect. I'm excited for that to come out.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, that is a interesting story, because the funny thing is I went to uni as well in Birmingham. In England.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I studied popular music performance there, and that's where I kind of got into songwriting and like really you can notice people that were just there for, oh, it's uni and freedom and all that.
Exactly.
And we had like older students there, which I was one of them, that were like there for the art, for the music, for the connection, for the connecting.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
Yeah, because I think after being in that, working in accounts 9 to 5 and having all this time where I was tired, I thought if there was a lesson in the morning, I thought like sometimes it was one lesson of the day. You have one lesson and then you've got nothing the rest of the day, and people would be like, oh, it's the morning, I'm not going to that lesson. And I thought, but you can sleep the rest of the day. I used to have forced to be there 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. and then some in an office. Like, this is nothing. I'm happy to get up for an hour. So but I think if I hadn't done that first, I might have just joined everyone being lazy and not made the most out of it. So oh,
that's cool. I think it makes a huge difference, the mindset that you have when you go into it.
completely.
You're just you do so many cool things and so many different things, and I'm just so fascinated that you took like that Reiki approach to your music, because once I finished uni, I was thinking about going like a similar route with that, like,
oh really cool,
to not necessarily Reiki, but like music as a healing power.
Yes, yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, I mean, obviously you can make music to make money, like a lot of it, but you can also, and that's where people are getting more into, is music is one of the most interesting ways of healing, really.
Yeah.
You know, they're now getting people to listen to music when they're doing like more like in hospitals, when they're operating on people, and they've actually found out that, you know, if they have like soothing music that they know, and that they kind of, the body responds differently than.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's insane, like the different frequencies, the different tones, the way it does things for us, the way it helps us, the way it actually heals us. It's like, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And that's why that was my first release, because I'm not releasing something going, hey, this is me, like my stuff. I'm saying, how can I help you? How can this help you? And that was the only way I was comfortable to release something under my name. And even to this day, I always think, I wish I didn't put my name in the title, like Sazrah's meditation music. Like, I wish it was called something else. But at the end of the day, it's about what the music does for other people. And once I've done volume 2, I can always like make my own like Reiki something music or something like that, you know. So it's just, yeah, it was one of those sort of, it helped me be comfortable releasing without feeling showy offy.
That's so cool. No, it definitely is. I love that mindset of how can I help? How can I give back, instead of like, like, please help me promote this. Please help me. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, there's something, you know, that's the new marketing form actually, is people, you know, that are doing well, like Jay Shetty or Lewis Howes and all these like big names. They're giving. They all talk about giving. How can I help? How can I add value? And
yeah, totally.
I think that's exactly what you're doing, is like, how can I give? How can I help? How can I serve you the best way possible, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's how I like to go by in life. I like any connections I've made, or any times where someone thinks, oh, you got lucky and this person spotted you. Actually, I reached out to help them, like to either do a music blog or something, because I wanted to exchange something. I wanted to give before I took. Like, that wasn't my aim. It was just making a connection. And how can we help each other? How can we lift each other up?
Yeah, totally. And that's, I mean, that's kind of where this podcast was born, is like, how can I help other musicians? Like, how can I serve them? Like, give them a platform where they can talk, where they can, you know, talk about what they love, you know, the music they're putting out, the music that they're listening to, the people that they're, you know, helping and stuff. So it's definitely really cool. So how do you, is there like a science behind the music? Like, are there certain, like you said in the beginning, kind of like you took the frequencies or the key of the chakra, or how do you go about that if you make music like that?
Yeah, so each chakra has is a different note. So it's like it resonates on a different note. So what I did was I used like generally like low frequencies and things that would give relaxation as a whole. But in terms of going to the chakras, I went for each note. So if there's a drone in the song or the key of the song, it will be in the note of that chakra. So although I've studied what makes people feel relaxed and like vibrationally feel good, I also targeted each song to resonate with the chakra's note as well, if that makes sense.
Totally.
But there's binaural beats where it's like frequencies and the science behind it, and like this frequency is for this and that frequency is for that, and I'm going to get into learning all that. But I really enjoyed just listening to it and not thinking about the science. Like it will say this is this frequency and this is that frequency, and I just listen. And like there's things where I've had like sore throat that's not going away, and then I've tried every medicine this time. I've tried honey, I've tried all natural things, and then I just listen to a binaural beat because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to sleep with this. And it's one specifically for like throat, and that's it. It goes, and I'm able to sleep. Like, it's crazy.
Wow. What?
So yeah,
blown away.
Yeah, like they have them for everything, like toothache, nausea. A lot of people use them for nausea, especially like if they're pregnant and they can't take anything for it. Yeah, a lot of people use binaural music for nausea and things like that. Yeah, but you can just find it on YouTube if you search binaural beats, and then yeah, I think there's a page called something like Good Vibes or Happy Vibes or something. Their binaural beats I like the most. Yeah.
Wow. So how do you learn about this? Where do you have like a mentor, or do you kind of
yeah, some of it's researching just online books, things like that, and then I've also gone to a lot of well-being events where you know, you go and there's different things in the day, so there'll be someone doing sound gongs and things like that. I went to one by a girl called Alona Woods, lovely girl, and she gives you a little booklet afterwards which goes into each aspect. So there'll be a bit about homeopathy, things like that, and then there was a bit specifically about music, and she's actually listed what frequency is for what part, or for what thing, for what kind of healing. And I was like, wow, I didn't even go to the event thinking of music, but then there's a whole section in the booklet that she gave about that. So yeah, it's like things just come to you, and yeah, I don't have a specific way of learning it. I just sort of go with the flow, which is what I've always done. And that's when things move. When I try and force something is when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's so cool. You should do like a masterclass on that. I would.
Oh, do you think? Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll get all my information together and make a masterclass. Yeah.
I would. If you ever do something like that, let me know. I will. I totally want to be, because that, I mean, I think that is so much more, I don't know, it just helps more people. I think everyone kind of is looking for something like that. Like, we all have some sort of stress, or we all have our problems, right? And I mean, I love songwriting because it is sharing a story, and people connect with that because they are in a similar situation, right?
Totally.
But you also, through music like that really heals you, is also a different way of sharing and helping each other. And that's
completely.
I don't know. I wanted to do that, but I never found the right information. I didn't know where to get it from and how to learn.
Yeah.
And, I'm not a producer. I'm just, I can
I
can manage my way around Logic. So I can record demos.
There are actual
producers, but that's it.
Yeah. There's music therapy courses online. Some of them are about like, 30, 40 pounds. They do offers on things. I'm thinking of joining a few of those. I think when you're thinking of collecting all the information together, I like to try different routes. Sometimes a book, sometimes a podcast, and then you kind of gather it all together and come up with like either your masterclass, your album, your book, whatever you're creating.
Wow. So if you do that, please let me know, because I want to be part of that.
Okay. Oh, thanks. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That, I mean, I would totally get into something like that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, because it's helpful, isn't it? It's helpful for whatever you're going through. It's only going to benefit you, and that's why I love learning that, because if something's benefited me, I want to say, look, how can I benefit you? That's why everyone always says, Sarah, you should be a life coach and things like that.
I could totally see that for sure. I can
oh wow, thank you.
It's so because the thing is, what really got me into songwriting is because I had I mean, I've been songwriting since I've been like 11, 12, just like therapy for myself, like kind of the normal blah blah route to kind of get it out. And then the more I shared it, the more people were connecting with it. I'm like, weird, I actually just wrote music for me, for my own like personal. It was like the hardest thing was for me to share it, even with my family or friends. Like, that was the hardest thing for me to do. And then I kind of forgot about it, because people kept telling me like, oh, you're never gonna make money when you're a musician, and you need to get signed and all that crap,
Oh my gosh, all that.
I know. The typical thing that just ruins your, crushes all your dreams, which is not true at all.
Yeah. Completely.
Totally. And then I forgot about it, and then I was doing something else, and then I got really depressed because I just did what I thought other people expected from me. And by doing that, I got really depressed and like the worst state. And what got me out of that depression stage was music.
Wow. Isn't that full circle?
Yeah. Like, and that's why I'm just so passionate about music and about songwriting and that healing power of music. It's not just it's not that just the commercial music you hear on the radio. It's so much more. Like, I'm like, please use music to like help others, and it's so much more. It's so empowering and freeing than, you know,
exactly, completely,
the music we hear.
That's exactly why in the end I did step into being an artist, because when I was just producing, as much as I loved it, I'm always helping someone create their vision, which I also love. But then I was like, who am I? And I had all these little problems and I wasn't really releasing them. So I'd write them, I'd try and give it to another singer to sing it. And then when someone's like, when I'm like, right, I'm going to get someone to mix and master this, even though I can mix and master, I like to like have another perspective now and then. And they'll be like, the guide vocal of me would be there at the top. And they'd say, who's this person? I think you should use this singer. And I was like, no, I don't sing. This is just my guide vocal. And no, but that sounds, I can more believe that. That's coming from the heart, that singing. Things like that. And then I was like, oh. And after like years and years of people who are brutally honest saying that it works with my singing, and it's more about the emotion behind it or the feeling I give, even if it's like a party song and I'm like sort of doing my A's and R's and stuff, and it's not really like it's coming from my natural rhythms that I have. So that's what kind of convinced me to do it. But it's been the scariest step, but it's actually, like you say, with you it's the being true to yourself, which is so freeing, and others connect to anyway. And it's coming from your heart, but then that's the thing that is more popular than when you're trying to fit another sort of standard or thing that people tell you you're supposed to be.
That's why I just, like I said in the beginning, like that's why I hope this is what this podcast does for people, is realizing you don't have to fit in that commercial pop music box that they try to put you in.
Completely. Exactly. Yeah, because think of the people, when I think of the people who I look up to, like, you know, like Missy Elliott, Andre 3000, they're completely not doing what anyone else is doing. So why, when I go into it, do I have to fit a certain market when I'm inspired by something completely different?
Totally. I mean, that's what makes them so relatable, and you're like, you know, I like Missy, like this is why, because she's just so completely different than anyone else. Really, it's just Missy. Like, how do you describe her? It's just Missy.
Exactly. Doesn't need any introduction. She is her own energy. She is on her own platform. Like, amazing. And also she produces too, which absolutely inspires me.
That's so cool. So what do we say is like your favorite part about producing?
I think for me, that's a really good question, actually. I think it's getting the idea that's in your head out and perfecting it. Like, I can't imagine if I couldn't make the beat for something, how I could say that to someone and then get the exact thing I want without me pestering them, where it's just me pestering myself to get it how I want without worrying about backing and forthing. So I think that feels amazing, that if when I'm lying in bed about to fall asleep and then beat idea comes into my head and I try and record it onto my phone with my voice half asleep, I think I'm so glad that I'm able to do the drums, do the piano, do the strings, I can create all that in my own room, and then that can go out to the world. Like when I do the TV music and I'm watching a really major show and then my song comes on, I think that was in my room that I made. That was upstairs up there, and now there it is on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And it's just like,
Wow.
That's so crazy. Like, but and I just remember the problems with the song and not being able to get the sound right, and the TV agency saying, oh, could you change this, could you change that? And then I lost the project, and then now here it is just in the background while on a reality show where people are doing nothing. I think that's why they have music on reality shows, because people don't really well, I'm like, where's the storyline in this? And then I'm just like, wow. And I did all that in my room. I had stroppy days with this song, I had happy days with this song, and it was all worth it in the end. So yeah.
Holy smokes. Yeah, talk about that journey a little bit. Like TV, like when you do they come to you and are like, you know what, we need a song for this TV whatnot, like commercial or show, or do you write a song and then pitch it to them, or what does the process look like?
Well, there's a few ways. At the moment, more people are coming to me asking me to produce for their show, but I think that's because of what's happened. But what I did it through was through TV agencies. So you sort of audition with them, send them a link to a few tracks, and then they'll sign you up. And it's they'll either have a library, so you just send them whatever you want, and you have to send different versions, one with just the drums, and then they put it in their library or reject it or ask for changes. Or there's some that have briefs, so they'll say Keeping Up with the Kardashians is have this, we need these kind of songs, we need emotional, we need transition, we need fashion, and they'll have examples, and you have to make something like the example but not exactly the same as the example, but not different from the those kind of briefs. And then they'll either reject, accept, or ask for changes. So there's a lot of time you're making music and you spend ages, and then it just gets rejected, and they say, we don't think it works for this show. But then you can give it to another agency, and then you'll find it on another show. So it's about not being disheartened with the rejections. But yeah, I just did the normal process, like of normal auditions. It wasn't like, oh, I was in the right place at the right time. But I do find working with American companies, they're a bit more quicker to get things done. I used to try with like British agencies and things, and it was just a lot slower of a process. So I've all my work I've had on TV has been with American and Canadian agencies.
Okay, that's good advice. So anyone that wants to get into TV music,
and some of them is just, you don't, it's like some of them close their auditions and then open them, but one that's always open and anyone can apply for is called MIBE Music, MIBE, MIBE Music, and you can just go on their website, send an audition link, and if they send a link with just put in a SoundCloud of your tracks, and if they think it's something that's good for TV, they'll give you a call and then sign you up, and then you can always send the music. So that's, people don't realize it's free, like, do you know what I mean? And so MIBE is a really good one.
All right, that's like that. Whoa, that's like a hot little secret right there.
a little gem for people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what would you say are like three, or I don't know, 3 common mistakes that new producers make, either when contacting or when they're producing their own music? Like, what advice would you give someone that's starting out, is saying, you know what, I want to be like Sazrah, I'm gonna go for the TV commercials or TV shows? Like, what are like 3 things that they should look out for?
So in the TV music field, 3 things, is that what you mean?
Yeah, or you can do more than that, but you know. Okay,
yeah, no. So with TV music, I think the mistakes I made before was I used to listen to like a particular advert and try and make a song like that, and then not know what to do with it. And I'd just be like, well, I've made it. Like, for me, what helped me was talking to other people who already do TV music. So, for example, I interviewed someone who had some music on MTV, and then they put me in touch with an agency. And then someone else who makes music for TV for a living saw when I posted that I was doing that. They went on my SoundCloud and then said, oh, I do this for a living. Here's some good agencies. Like, do you want me to put you in touch with them? Or here's the ones that you can do for free, and things like that, and kind of like help me through it. But I guess if number one is talk to people who are already doing what it is you want to do, rather than making some people, and this is rule number 2,
Yeah.
some people make like, I'm going to make a library of tracks and then give them to a specific company. So they make 100 tracks and then about 20 get accepted. So I would say with that, again, have your 3 or 4 tracks that you're going to use for your audition of the various styles, and then wait to see what a company wants, because otherwise you don't want to have wasted your time. So that's another thing. Like, so rule number 2 would be have about 3 or 4 tracks, or even you can go up to 6 if you want to.
So don't go too crazy.
Yeah. And then number 3 would be quality of the music. So really learn your mixing and things like that, because you can have a really good song which sounds great for TV, but if the sound's not good quality, it's gonna get rejected. And if it gets rejected and you think, oh, it's my songwriting, sometimes they don't tell you why they're rejecting it. You could think it's because your songwriting skills aren't good, but it's just actually the quality. So ask other people's opinion, what they think on the quality, on the equality, on the quality, and listen to it on different speakers, you know, the usual, but I can't stress enough how important that is. And there's so many times where I thought something was good quality, but really deep down I just thought, let me get this finished quickly, and they catch you. They're like, this bit here sounds a bit rushed, could you do this? So you've got to really be professional with it and not think about the speed, but think about the quality. Yeah,
that's good advice for sure. I think that's not what I do. I think we want to get it done so quickly that, you know, listen to it on headphones, listen to it as speakers, listen to it in your car, listen to it when, you know, all different, just everywhere.
And then there's the thing of, then there's a point where you have to let it go and be like, okay, this is enough, because you can get caught up and keep making it better as well. So it's like knowing that balance. But it's always good to ask for another opinion. I've got someone who I always ask everything, and he'll say, oh, the bass might need to be a bit this, and because he's got that ear, he just he doesn't even really do music anymore, but he just has that ear. And I just always send him stuff, could you check this out? And I know if he says it's good, then I'm good to go.
Oh, that's good advice, because I like to ask, you know, when do you know a song's finished, or where do you know, because you kind of want to get that sweet spot between not being too perfectionist, like too perfect about it, because then you'll never get it done. But if you don't put in not enough effort, it'll sound like you didn't even try. Right? Because you want to be the best version it can be without, you know, being sliding exactly that perfectionism and never get it done.
And there's so many different opinions, so you could finish it and send it, and someone goes, this bit sounds a bit like that, and I'm like, oh, but someone else told me to leave that because it sounds raw. And then so you've got to be confident in, you've also got to think, right, I'm getting all these people's opinions, but what am I confident with? Because people are going to come at me with any old opinion. What can I stand strong and hold in my heart that I'm pleased with about it myself? So it's like putting all those factors together in a little ball and then being ready to share it with the world.
Wow. There's a lot of there. It's so funny, because the more musicians I talk to and songwriters and producers, it's really about, you know, being it's a very mental game. Like you said, like at the end of the day, you have to be able to stand behind the decisions you made and be like, you know what, music is so objective. Like you can ask 10 people and you all get 8 different answers or 9 different answers, right?
Completely.
It's that game of, you know what, okay, I'm owning this.
Yes, exactly. Which can be so difficult, but
scary.
The more you do it, the easier it becomes.
That's it's such a tough thing. I don't really think, you know, it's one rule for everything. Like it's just yes, exactly. It's so hard to sort of say, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and this is the rule that everyone else has to follow. Exactly.
I guess you can only say from your experience where you went wrong, and where you've gone wrong might be someone else's right. So you know, you can only talk from experience, but not preach as if it's the only way going forward.
Oh yeah.
And then even times change, don't they? Like it could be everyone's saying put everything on MySpace, you're nothing without MySpace, and now where is MySpace? Then SoundCloud, and then SoundCloud nearly closed, and then all the different things, like you've got to be prepared that there's no system, it's always changing, but enjoy riding the wave rather than being trampled on by the wave.
Yeah. Stay on top of things, right? It's
yes, exactly.
The only thing that's constant is that things keep changing.
Yeah, it's the only thing we can rely on. We can rely on the fact it's never going to be reliable.
Exactly. How comforting is that?
I know.
No,
which
but
is why we also need our Reiki and our things to just sort of keep us in the right mindset.
Yeah,
faith, have that kind of faith.
Yeah. And it was very interesting because coming back to your single that you just released, Some Kind of Way, tell the story behind it, because I think it was so interesting, so funny. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so I made a song called Some Kind of Way, like a sort of slightly Afro beats with a little twist. And I basically started with this song and made the beat, had the melody, but hadn't got lyrics. So when I started writing lyrics, I just thought I can imagine a guy singing this, like a guy with a kind of like Kelvin Boy or like an Akon voice, where they've got a slightly higher voice and they're singing over this kind of like African rhythms. And so I wrote it for a guy, and then I started sending it around places saying, do you know any singers where this would work and stuff? And people kept on saying, oh yeah, I love this, I'm going to send it around these labels, I'm going to send this, I'm going to send that. And it would always come back round to me, and then people would just be like, I love this song, I love the way you sing this, and I'd say, oh no, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's written for a guy. And it just kept coming back round and coming back. Or I'd be waiting for something, and then someone would be like, when are you going to release this? And then I just thought, do you know what, why don't I just change the lyrics a bit and release it as me? Then it's out there. I'm not waiting for anyone else to make this come out there. People love dancing to this song, and it's got the best feedback out of anything that I've ever sort of created, in terms of people enjoying it and wanting to dance, and like that instant, oh, I really like this, rather than listening a few times and figuring things out. So I thought, let me just do it. Let me change the words. And then Some Kind of Way was born. And I think, and then I got my friend Simpol Tinz, the rapper, on there. He was also having a sort of, he was doing a lot of music in Ghana, moved to the UK, started working in the UK, and then music kind of took a back seat. And so when we were like chatting, he was like, let's get back in the game, like let's get you back in the game and things. And then for me, it's sort of like new territory of me as an artist. I know it's my second release, but you know, it's still at the beginning for me. And then for him, it's like coming back into the game. And it was just really nice the way it all sort of came together. And there's certain things where I just had the melody, where I hadn't written the lyrics yet, like the part where I really hold the word night for a really long time. I'm like, and I was like, okay, what can I fill this with? And I kept trying to fill it with words. But in the end, everyone was like, no, that's the best bit of the song. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And they're like, just keep holding that note. Like, yes, you were writing it as a melody, but it actually is like a little tag that we can grab on. And it's so many people's favorite bit of the song, whereas I listen to it and I go, oh, cringe at me just going, because it was like me just playing around on the demo. But little things like that, like it's just so cool that it can be released and still have those things that, and people actually like that. Like I used to hold so much music close to my chest and not share it, but to realize people like the mistakes of the making of things and stuff. So yeah, that was how Some Kind of Way sort of came about.
That's so cool. I mean that I just, when you told me about it, I'm just like, wow, that's such a cool idea, because we talked a lot about that a little bit, you know, because you, as a producer, you kind of take the back seat and you're kind of like, you know, but now with this Some Kind of Way, you're in the driver's seat, right? So exactly that emotional change that kind of happened when in that transition.
It's the most scary thing, like doing that transition and doing, in fact, the first song I released, called Lust, featuring One Love, another Ghanaian artist, I'm this whole concept is I've given up on love and I'm this robot. So then I'm like, well, I can hide behind the effects because I'm a robot and this and that. And if we do a video, I'll be like this, and I won't really be me because I have so much makeup on. I'll look like a robot. And it was still hiding, almost peeking around the curtain. Do people accept this? Do people accept this? But if you don't, I'm a robot. It's not me. Like, sort of like, do you know what I mean?
Totally.
So yeah, it was like one of those things. And then it was received really well. And then when it got BBC introduced and play and things like that, I thought, wow, like this means it's quality enough that someone who doesn't know anything about me just listened to it and has gone, right, yeah, we like this. So that kind of gave me confidence. And then with Some Kind of Way, I was like, right, I'm gonna show who I am from my roots, the Ghanaian side. I'm gonna wear African dress on the cover. I'm gonna like really reveal me. I'm gonna be singing, but I know I don't have the most perfect voice. And I know, I mean, with Afrobeats, auto-tune is like a given thing. So there's still a little bit of hiding there. But at the same time, you can still hear a lot of rawness in my voice, and you can hear that it's the imperfections on certain bits. And I think I just thought, you're either going to release this as it is, or you're always going to be wanting to give it away to someone else, but it keeps coming back to you for a reason. So, you know, and I haven't had any comments. I just thought everyone would be saying, oh, it would be better with another singer. It would be better with another singer. But all the comments have been just really nice, even about my voice. Like, and to me, that's insane. And I know that's weird because it's like, well, why are you releasing music then? But for me, it's the way, what makes me feel comfortable is I'm expressing it the only way I know how. And if I gave it to somebody else, they're not, I've learned from what everyone's saying, they're not expressing it the way I do. So it's more of rawness, organicness, as opposed to I'm the next Mariah Carey.
No, I think that's what drew me into the song, because I'm just like, wow, this sounds different. Like this is like I love the vocals on it, because I'm like, this is raw, this is real. Like you could just hear the difference. Like it's not like you can put your finger on it. It's like, oh yeah, this is because blah blah blah. Something about the song just takes you and grabs you and pulls you into it. And that was the first song I heard of you, and it kind of, I'm just like, oh, I need to know more. Like I'm the person that wants to know more. I want to know the story. I want to know like how it happened, how the production is, how you felt for doing it. And I'm like, I need to have you on the podcast. Like I need to, and I just need to have you on here. Like that's what I heard, and that's what I connected with. And I'm so grateful that you did it, that you kind of.
Thanks. That honestly has made my heart melt. I feel a bit emotional. That the fact you said it drew you in, and that you wanted to learn more about me, and that's just me being me, and that just feels really accepting of, like, you don't know anything about me, and that's made you want to know about me, and that's really like all I could ever ask for. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, you're welcome. It's just I'm just a music freak like that. I don't know. For me, music is not just like a track that you listen to. For me, music is, the story, the emotion, the journey that, like, I want to know. That's why I kind of also started the podcast, because I can ask questions that I want to. Like usually when I listen to interviews, I'm like, at the end, I'm just, well, what about this? What about that? What do you do?
Whereas you're in control of this, you can get exactly the information you need.
I was just so unsatisfied at the end. I'm like, you were just scratching the surface. Like you didn't even, you didn't even ask the good stuff yet, And I don't even know that much more about this artist or this person, or, and now I can. So
that's so good. And it's so good that you've gone ahead and done the podcast, and that you're actually like helping others, but also putting yourself out there doing it. I know so many people who say, including myself, I'm going to do a podcast, and then they never get round to it. But you've just done it. You've just grabbed the bull by the horns, and that's so good.
That's what I said. That's something I've been thinking about for a long time. Like a lot of people did. And I've just been thinking about it and thinking about like, oh, whenever I have time or whenever I feel like it, and then it never happens, obviously. And I don't know, this entire through this whole COVID situation, it just kind of pushed me over the edge to be like, okay, you know what, I'm sick of this. It got me so mad. But I'm like, I need to do something. And that's where it just kind of gave me that last push, because I was scared. I was so freaking scared to put myself out there, to be like, who would want to be on the podcast, first of all?
Oh,
who would want to listen to it? Like, and so it means
I know
a lot.
that feeling. I know that feeling. Like, to me, I'm like, how could you even be scared? Like, you're such a natural at this. But because of me and releasing my music, I completely understand the feeling.
Yeah. It is scary. Anything that you put out there that, you know, represents you or that is raw. And like I said, for you, it's the song, like some kind of way. For me, it was the podcast. For somebody else, it's bringing out the first EP or the first single, or, you know, kind of not hiding behind, you know, the production side or behind, you know, some really polished vocal. Or that's something I'm very insecure about still to this day, are my vocals. You know, I always got someone else to sing the song for me too. And
exactly the same like me.
Yeah, so it's so glad to talk to someone like you, where you're like open as well and be like, you know what, I'm scared too.
Completely. And one of the things that helped me randomly is will.i.am, when I think of how he produces and everything, but he features on things, but he's not got like a voice of a real trained person, but he makes it fit into the song and everyone loves it. And I just kept thinking, like, if he can do that, why can't I? Because I don't sit there and think, well, why aren't you hitting this note and why aren't you holding that? Like, and when you're performing, why is it not the same as when this person's performing, and the quality? I just thought, like, this is so cool that you're doing that and you found your way of showing your voice and fitting it in a way that's so popular for everyone.
Oh, that I mean, I think, again, like I said, it's such a mental game. It's most of the time we're so harsh and hard on ourselves, and we wonder and are scared of what other people might think, and then you put it out and everyone loves it. For most of the people, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, you know, I'm still alive, I'm still okay, I can do this.
Exactly. It's so that. And then even if, and this would never happen, but even if no one liked the song, you've still expressed, you've still released that. It's like when people say, write a letter. If something's bothering you, write a letter about it and burn it. You've actually put it into a song and put it out there, like, for others to take, like, and that's just such an amazing step.
That's a get. I've never That's why I like talking with other musicians, because they just kind of open your eyes. I've never even thought about something like that. That's so cool.
Oh, thanks.
There are two more questions that one is probably more for me, because I love the Afrobeat and the drums that you put on there.
Oh, thank you.
My question is, what sound do you use? Is it like a plugin, or do you use like a preset, or what is it? Because they sound so good.
Oh, thank you. Imagine I was like, it's all Apple loops.
I'd be like, what? I need that.
So I have a setup of, I use Logic Pro, and then I, for drum samples and things, I use a collection of samples that I've just got over the years, and Machine. The Machine, in fact, I can show you here my machine for those watching on YouTube. But it's Native Instruments Machine. I've just got the Machine Micro, but I used to have the bigger machine as well. But that one is now that all the things have updated, now the big machine, you have to buy a new one to keep up with the updates of the iMac. I was like, let me just get a little one. Like, I'm not falling into your game of spending lots of money again. I saved up so much to get that other machine. So that's what I use for my drum samples, and I use their expansion packs. And I, with Some Kind of Way, I played the drums myself on the pads, but sometimes I will take a little bit of a loop or a shaker I take from somewhere else, or sometimes I would use parts of presets, and for like maybe like a snare roll or something I might take from a preset. But with Some Kind of Way, it was quite a lot of me just drilling it in on the drum pads. And then the synths, I think I used a lot of Logic synths actually.
What, out of the library from Logic?
I used quite a lot of Logic synths for some kind of way.
Wow. I mean,
I used a couple from Machine. Sorry,
I gotta admit, like, Logic has really good, like, a good library of, like,
definitely. I think Logic has very strong synths. Some of their loops for like little percussion elements, like their shakers and stuff, are really good, or their risers. Or they've got a real good thing for impact is they've got a thing called Boomer that's really good for impact when you hit a chorus, like a things like that, like in their loops. That's one of the little tricks of the trade. But yeah, I think their drums are the weakest. However, if you can get their drums sounding good if you spend a lot of time mixing it, but I prefer like a good sample. It just makes things a bit quicker. So I usually use something else for my drums. And I think Machine's the main thing that I've used for drums. And I'm thinking I've ever bought any other expansion packs. Only for things like Serum and things for synths.
Serum is really good.
Yeah, and then obviously the sampler in Logic Pro is really good, especially since the update. You can just drag things in. You can even make a beat with your mouth, and like it just goes straight into Logic. So I think that's a really good new territory, and sequencers, things like that, make things easier. But at times I just like to whack the beat out the way I hear it, the way my mum taught me on the kitchen table when I was growing up, and she was showing me the rhythm she played in her band and stuff like that. So
that's so cool. That is, I mean, because I just heard the drums and I'm like, ooh, I can't forget to ask you about those, because they're so good. I think when I did the drums, I was listening to other Afrobeats music and sort of just playing whilst listening to it, and then there was just one rhythm in there that I played that I just thought, this is going to be the driving rhythm, and sort of like that kind of, which is a little bit sort of reggaeton kind of, but still Afrobeat. So but I mean, we at uni, that the hardest cover that we had to do was, I think we had to cover AC/DC in Afrobeat. And oh my gosh, oh god, I had such just the rhythms, they're so different from the original music you usually hear. If you're not used to it, they're so much fun to play, but it took me forever at least to kind of get into that groove. Like you kind of have to feel it. It's like turn off your brain, Latin, listen to it, and kind of go for it. And I remember in the beginning I was so upset. I'm like, how in the world could we even do something? And then at the end I'm like, I love this. This is so fun.
Cool. I want to hear it. I want to hear what you did.
I mean, it was not like, compared to you, it was just not even anyways. That's so
there's a very prominent Afrobeats rhythm. They're like but I didn't use that in some kind of way, but I will be using that in other songs.
God. Talking about other songs, you are working on something, right?
Yes, I'm working on an album called #WhatGirlsDo, talking about being just all the general things that girls do, being a woman, but from all aspects, not just being a woman who falls in love and doesn't want to be hurt, being a woman who sometimes is the one breaking the hearts, being the woman who's in an industry filled with men, being the woman who goes through all sorts of struggles, and how I overcome them. And or even when times where there's some songs, there's like a time where the song's really happy, like, oh my god, I've got a song called Frenemy. We're so we're so like love hate each other, isn't this a fun relationship, like this is, and then the next song it goes into like, actually this is manipulation, like this is abuse, this is, and it was like I was trying to mask it, all things I've been through, trying to mask it with this is a fun thing, look at our love hate, but actually this person's emotionally like controlling me, and they know what they're doing, and they're coming to the realization, and then coming out of that and feeling happy again, and then love songs and songs of being a bit cheeky and experimentation, all sorts of things that as a girl I've gone through, and I know a lot of other girls have gone through, and I just thought, oh, why can't we sing about the other elements? It doesn't always have to be the, you know, who people expect us to be. We sometimes are a bit naughty too.
I like that. Yeah, that's so cool. So hashtag what girls do. Wow. Yeah, I already love all your stuff you've been doing so far, so I can't wait
thank you
to hear all these different aspects of storytelling, and
it's going to feature a lot of people as well, like other girls, other guys, because you have to have like both perspectives of things. But I will be featuring on most, if not all, the tracks. I think there's an interlude that may not feature me, but I might do like backing and things. So yeah, still deciding what's staying on the album and what's not.
Wow.
So yeah,
maybe there's like a part 2 to the album.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be cool. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, like a second, a bonus extra edition.
Like, or something like at the end to be like,
yeah,
be continued, and then it kind of goes into the second out, like the
good idea. Look at you coming up with ideas of my life. Masterclass. Part 2 of my album.
That's so cool. I just that's why I just love talking with other people and musicians, because you just kind of realize that you're not alone with the fears that you're having. You're not alone with the journeys that you're on, your problems. You know, somebody else has them, or it's just a little bit further along in their journey. And like you said, find someone that's already there where you want to go, and kind of ask them, try to figure out what they're doing, what worked, what didn't work. So I love talking with you today.
Thank you. I love talking with you.
New things.
Good.
So thank you for just being so open and sharing and being honest. And
thank you. Yeah, no, anything. I hope this helps other people step out their comfort zone and just embrace who they are, and enjoy the process of making music.
Yeah. There you go. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy music. And I think to get out of your head sometimes really helps.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. All right. So where can people find you? Where are the obviously Spotify, iTunes? I mean, I don't know, SoundCloud, or whatever you want to promote, Instagram.
Yeah, so most of my things, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, is Sazrah Producer, all one word. Sazrah is how you spell Sazrah. And I've got sazrah.co.uk as well, which has a few bits, links to all my socials too. And my meditation music, everything is under Sazrah on Spotify, Apple Music and all that. But yeah, my socials are Sazrah Producer, and yeah, I think that's everything really. I love hearing other people and other styles. So yeah, I want people to, if they follow me, send me their stuff, people who are going through similar journeys. And I love hearing. I'm making a Spotify playlist actually called Rising Stars, I think it is. So I'm looking for people to add, people who are in this same sort of part of their journey of like upcoming, just first releasing, and so I want to hear from people who want to send me their stuff to go on that playlist.
Oh, okay, there we go. So anyone that's listening that is working on their debut singles or albums?
It doesn't even have to be debut, but just anyone who feels they're up and coming. I mean, I even wrote on it on the Rising Stars that it's Rising Stars collection. I've just got it up now. I've put rising up and already risen stars of R&B, hip hop and pop. So that's
nice.
the kind of, I mean, pop covers everything. So.
Yeah.
But the people in there at the moment is just from the field that I know. A lot of them are R&B and hip hop, but I added pop because I'm like, I want a bit of everything. So yeah, Rising Stars collection, and anyone, you can be anywhere really, as long as you're not like, you know, Katy Perry. You're not that big, then you can be on there. I'm getting, it's like you usually say you're not good enough to go on something. I'm like, if you're too big, you can't, you're not allowed here.
I'm sorry, you're too big, you're too good to be. That's cool. I mean, again, like serving and helping, and that's really cool. So yeah, so if anyone wants to be on the playlist, do they just message you, or do they send you their
Instagram is fine. Yeah, and just send me the links to their Spotify music. I've only got it on Spotify. I haven't created a playlist on anything else, but I probably will be able to figure out how. But I'm just used to using Spotify, so
yeah. That's cool. So yeah, anyone that wants to be
and follow it, Rising Stars Collection, and listen to some other people in the same boat as you. Like,
I love playlists like that. They're so hard to find, but once you do, they're like real gems, because that's
completely.
I just, because me too, I'm someone that wants to listen to a little bit of everything, you know. I don't want just that commercial, you know, that they kind of put down your throat sometimes. I've heard the same song like 50 times, and like, okay, it was good the first 5 times, and now I'm kind of annoyed.
Totally, I know what you mean.
So, I love new artists, like finding new music and being like, oh my gosh, this is great, like these people.
You found me on an independent artist only playlist, didn't you? That's like, it goes to show, like, having these kind of playlists are really helpful.
Totally, like that's what I look for, and hopefully people that, you know, are out there looking for fresh music, for artists they haven't looked for. Like, it also helps you with your own music as well, because it kind of inspires you when you hear things you haven't heard before. You're like, oh, all right, I like this little snippet, or I like this little thing, or the drum part or whatnot. So
yeah, exactly, it inspires and helps you, push you to go a certain route as well.
Well, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Yes, thank you.
And
you too.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll get to see you soon.
Okay, yes, definitely. Let's hope that all this storm will blow over, what's going on in the world, and we'll all get to hang out.
Yeah, that will be so cool. It'll be like, so good to finally have a hug, or, you know.
Human interaction.
Well, take care, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Musician Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Alise Koa. I hope you got to learn something new about producing or songwriting or mental health when it comes to making music, the fears that most musicians have when making music. So everything that's behind the scenes, behind making music, you will learn it here, because I am basically talking to anyone that makes music all around the world. So I have a great privilege to learn all of that, and I can't wait to share it with you all. So follow this podcast if you enjoyed what you heard today, and go and share it with somebody that you think could enjoy this episode as well, benefit and learn from it. And as always, there's more information at alisekoa.com/podcast. Talk to you soon. Bye.